Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel Books with Natasa, and today I'm gonna film my March wrap up. So during this month I had a lot of difficulty reading, but that didn't stop me from reading 12 books and 6 manga in this month. But contrary to my usual reading, that is basically cut in half. But still, I had so much fun with my reading this month, especially with my books and manga, and I discovered a few new favorite books, and basically it was a very good month. So let's just get straight into the list of books. The first book that I read this month was Always Mine by Laura Pablo, which is book number 1 in the Honey Mountain series, and I gave it 4 stars. And this is an enemies to lovers small town romance, and again I'm continuing with my love or small town romances, and it's just the best thing ever. So here we have Nico and Vivian. Nico is a firefighter and Vivian is like his best friend. They always had this super special bond between them, but they didn't want to go into a relationship because both of them had lost too much from their lives and they don't want to lose each other. So basically they haven't acted on them. That is until Vivian breaks up with her boyfriend and is like asks Nico to help her sexually because she hasn't really had the best experiences in that department. So they fight a bit they go back and forth, but at the end they start be together and it's just amazing. And I love how at the end everything is resolved and it's just the best thing, and I highly recommend you guys pick up the series. I will definitely continue with it, but I have no idea when. Next we have A Curious Beginning, which is book number 1 in the Veronica Speedwell series by Diana Rayburn, and I gave it 4.5 out of 5 stars. If you see me keep looking here, it's because I have my notes here, but still, if you are up to date with my Instagram, then you know that I have a deep obsession with the Veronica Speedwell series as of this month, and I basically binge read the most books in the series. I have like 3 left, but I'm taking a small break at the moment. But I had this book on my TBR for the longest time because I heard many comparisons to Stalking Jack the Ripper series by Kerry Maniscalco. Many of you know how much I love that series, so I thought I would give this a try. And the mysteries are predictable, there is no way around that, but it's a perfect cozy murder mystery, and the romance is just phenomenal. I love a good slow burn and it's just amazing. I love Veronica's and Stoker's banter, the back and forth, also the partnership and the friendship is everything, and I just love it so much. And basically this series is just amazing and I highly recommend you guys pick it up. It's definitely worth it, perfect for the fall and if you want like a cozy mystery to read, and it's just amazing. Next is a book that completely took me by surprise because I picked it up completely on a whim, and that is More Than I Could by Adriana, and I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. This is definitely a new favorite of mine, definitely a new all-time favorite, and I just loved it so much. It's a small town romance and it's a Grumpy Sunshine. It's just everything that I wanted and it's just amazing. And we have a single parent and a nanny, and I am beginning to realize that I love this trope so much. And I really do love how in this book we get to see them accept their feelings and their attraction from the beginning and not actually hide from each other, but they know that they can go there because of the child in their care, but they decide to not deny their feelings and their attraction very early on, and I just love that. It was so different from most of these books that I have read in this trope, and I just loved it. Also how it was resolved in the end was amazing. Definitely 5 out of 5 stars, definitely read it, it's just amazing. Continuing with my new favorite series, and we have A Perilous Undertaking, which is book number 2 in the Veronica Speedwell series by Diana Rayburn, and again I gave this 4.5 out of 5 stars. and I think it's pretty obvious so far that I love the heck out of these books, and the characters are just amazing, and I only hope the author continues and writes so much more books in this series. I really want to see Veronica and Stoker get married and everything, but I know it's against their beliefs during the point that we are in the series, but I hope at the end they will get married because I think they deserve that. And I love how in each book we have another mystery, but we don't stray so far from all the facts that we have read in the previous book, and I just love it that we keep having this major storyline develop more and more with each book, but we also get an extra mystery and so much more romantic scenes and banter between Stoker and Veronica, and I just love it so much. With book number 3 in the Veronica Speedball series, A Treacherous Curse, which I gave 4.75 out of 5 stars. This one took me completely by surprise because it had like Egyptian lore and myths, and many who know me know that I'm a huge fan of anything relating Egypt and everything. Ever since I watched the movies, The Mummy, the one from 2000, and it's like my all-time favorite movie. And this book gave me all these feelings because we have Veronica and Stoker being involved in this latest news that there is this curse that killed a researcher in a dig that they had in Egypt, and now this research came back to London to host an exhibit, but Stoker and Veronica were hired to help find the thief because Stoker has a bad past with that man and is now a suspect in his murder, so they want to clear Stoker's name because he didn't do it, because he's not that person, but because of their bad history, it's likely that he will be charged, so they want to get ahead of it and help him, also help these researchers as well, because the things that they stole was like super expensive. But also we get to see stuff from Stoker's past in this book. His ex-wife shows up, and let me tell you, I didn't expect how much I would hate her for what she did to Stoker. I had a feeling that maybe they had a fight or something like that, or they drifted apart, and that's one of the reasons that they got divorced. But the stuff that happened was nowhere near the stuff that I imagined, and she's like the worst human being ever to live. And I mean, and she isn't even sorry and tries to get ahead of and basically accuses Stoker of everything, even though he did basically nothing, and they left him for dead. And I mean, wow, I mean, I understand now why Stoker is the way he is, and I can say that I blame him. Next we have Depraved by A.J. Merlin, and I read the ebook of this, and based on the cover you can tell that it's very spicy, but I picked it up again on a whim after reading like an expert of it on TikTok, and I really needed to read it, so, and I gave it 5 out of 5 stars because it wasn't obvious, and I just loved it. We have like a Stoker romance here, but it's also like super weird. I mean, we have this girl Sloan that works in this sort of cabins in the woods basically, and one night this guy in a black mask shows up in her bedroom, and basically they initiate basically some sexual stuff. And there is consent, in case you are wondering. He didn't force himself on her, but still, she finds it like super weird that she was so attracted to him. And they go back and forth for a few nights, and then she basically guesses who this guy is, and they start to have this super weird but also super working relationship. But Sloan is also kinda have a lot to deal with her stepfather being out of jail, and this guy helps her navigate that situation basically, and it was amazing. and I loved it. Definitely check it out if you want like something spicy and a stalker romance, and this definitely gave me Jade Meadows vibes, and I love that, man. Continuing with the Veronica Speedwell series, we have book number 4, in Dangerous Collaboration, which I gave 4.5 out of 5 stars, and I think this book might be my second favorite in the series. I love this so much. Here we have Stalker's brother taking Veronica in this estate in an island as his fiance, so he can attend this dinner of his old friend, but then Stalker also appears because he's like super jealous, which we love. But yeah, then as they attend this dinner, the host starts talking about his runaway bride that went missing about 20 years ago, I believe. So Stalker and Veronica start researching and helping this guy basically find out what happened to her, because and as we move with this book, we found out that this guy Malcolm had a motive. Basically everyone in this room had a motive for her to disappear, also as well as Stalker's brother. So but as we read more of this book, more of the story, we found out all the different connections, and which I loved. And this story was amazing. Also the ending was incredible. I love the character and relationship development in that Stalker and Veronica had in this book. It was incredible. We have a book that has been on my TBR for this month, but it took me a while to pick it up for a number of reasons, and that is things we had from the live, book number 2 in the Knockaman series by Lucy Score, and I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. This book, I loved it so much more than the first one. Nash was just incredible. And the biggest reason why I didn't pick it up immediately as it released was, in the previous book, I imagined Nash to be like the super older guy, like older, like 50, 60. And I couldn't really separate that image from my brain. So I did start this book, and as soon as I read like 100 pages, I was able to reimagine him, if that makes sense. And I loved them. So Nash and this other girl, let me check her name. Because I can't remember, but Lena, her name is Lena. And Lena hates physical touch by anyone other than Nash, which I love. And we have them have the super sexualization from the beginning and attraction. It's just amazing, but later Nash finds out that she's lying about who she is, but she's there on Okama to actually look for the guy that shot Nash. So because she's this insurance investigator, if that makes sense, bounty collector, so he basically explodes because he doesn't like lies, and he feels like he can trust her and everything. So there is this thing that is going back and forth in this book, that lies and the trust issues and everything. But I think that is resolved wonderfully by the end. Also, we have Lena, who is afraid of commitment, but as soon as she starts to open up with Nash, he does something really bad, and it takes a while for Lena to forgive him. And I love that, and I love how so difficult it was to open to each other, but once they did, it didn't exactly equal rainbows and sunshine, and I just love that so much. I can't wait for Lucian's book coming out this September. I will definitely pre-order it, and I think it's gonna be the best one in the series. We have another new favorite, and that is Wreck and Ruin, which is book number 1 in the Blue Angels Motorcycle Club by Emma Slade, which I gave 5 out of 5 stars. And again, I picked this book up completely on a whim, and usually I'm not one for reading Motorcycle Club romances, but this one was just done so amazing. It was a slow burn, but it was also really amazing. We have this girl that gets caught up in this situation because her boss stole something from one of the rival gangs, so she doesn't really know where to turn, so she goes to court, which she met the other night, and to hide basically, because she has nowhere to go because some people broke into her house. So he takes her in and tries to protect her and everything, but he also tries to get her to admit that they have feelings for another, but she can't just start dating him. He needs to be, they need to be sure of their feelings in the relationship, because once they start dating, it's then marriage, and he claims her and she becomes one of his gang member and everything. So it's a little bit complicated, but it's again super amazing. I loved it. The only thing that I didn't like so much was the lack of feminism in this book, just because most of the men were like, women don't meddle with our work, they just stay home and take care of the children and everything, and they don't want them to have anything to do with the club, and I just found it like super annoying. But other than that, this book was incredible, 5 out of 5 stars. Final book on this list was a book that dropped on my Kindle a few days ago, I believe, and that is Coach by Theyve. This is one of my most anticipated releases of the year. So when it dropped on my Kindle, I dropped everything to read it, and it didn't disappoint me. I gave it like 4 or 5 stars, and it was just a nice single parent small time romance read, and I just had the best time reading it. I ended up reading it all in one sitting. I didn't stop to read at all. This is also second chance romance. We have Ford and Millie, which we know they share history and used to be best friends back in college, but as soon as they took the first step to start being in a relationship, Ford's ex-girlfriend shows up and she's like, I'm pregnant, and she basically plays him into marrying him, and they were basically miserable for like 10 years, I believe, and they got divorced, and now he's moving back to Montana to take a job and basically help his daughter be more happy, because he just can't take it in Seattle anymore. So as soon as he moves and goes to get in this new job as a coach, it turns out Millie works there in the business part of this establishment, and he basically is standing there with his mouth open. He can't believe that his Millie is there after everything. But Millie has spent the past 10 years being super mad and super embarrassed and hurt, because after that kiss, Ford completely ghosted her, didn't talk to her, didn't do anything, and she felt like he did that to cut her off because she crossed a line with a kiss, because she initiated it. And that is one of the reasons why I give this book a 4 star, because I think this her feelings were sort of glossed over. She sort of forgave him immediately and started spending time with him immediately, and I really wanted him to work for it more after everything, not just give her an explanation and then kiss her 3 times and then start dating, because I found it like super quick, even though it needed time to process, and it did have the time, because this book is like 400 pages long, so it couldn't have happened, but it didn't, and that's my opinion. I talked about all the books that I read this month. Let's jump straight into the manga. The first book on this list is Hell's Paradise Volume 1 by Yuji Kago, which I gave 3.5 out of 5 stars, and this manga gave me so much Demon Slayer vibes, but the story is really weird, and also really not deep enough, if that makes sense for me. And basically we have this ninja called Gabimaru the Hollow, which is basically a killer, and he's standing there with a bunch of other killers ready to get hanged basically. And then the government is offering these criminals a job to go to this island to get the elixir of life, I believe, and if they get it back for them, they are free men. So there is this battle sort of fight that happens to eliminate a few players to have a smaller number, and basically Gabimaru kills so many people because he decides that he actually wants to live, to go back to his wife. So yeah, there's that. So I will continue with the series at least until volume 3 to really get a feeling for it, but I'm not sure if I'm gonna finish it. I really want to read volume 3 before the anime comes out, which is like the next month. And I think I'm gonna do it soon, so I guess we'll see how that will go. Next we have Hitori My Hero Volume 13 by Memeko Ari, which I gave 4 stars. I'm holding Volume 1 here because I don't have a Volume 13 yet. It's not out, but in this volume we have most of Kensuke and Hasekura. We don't have much of Masahiro and Kensuke, not Kensuke, Kusuke, which are my favorites. These two are my favorites, but I really did enjoy watching the depth of Hasakura and Kensuke's relationship, how they have come from the first volume, and the development of the relationship was just everything. And I love how it was addressed, how all their feelings were addressed, and everything was just amazing. I can't wait to read volume 14 coming out, I think next month, and I'm so happy that this series is still ongoing because I wasn't ready to finish. I had heard that volume 3 was gonna be the last, and I'm so glad that it didn't. It's still ongoing because I really need more of these two. They are the sweetest. Let me see if I can show you a panel. Since it's volume 1, there aren't gonna be many spoilers, I hope. So here we have Kosuke-san, and let me see if I can find one with Masahiro. I'm trying not to show you the super. Here is one with both of them. Also, I love that this manga is like one of the bigger ones, and because it's definitely worth it, and I just love it so much. Next on this list, I read Kamisama Kiss Volume 2, 3, 4, and 5. I'm holding here Volume 5, and of course I gave all of them 5 out of 5 stars. And look at this cover. I mean, Tomoe is just gorgeous, and I'm just having so much fun reading this manga series because there are so many extra scenes and extra layers to the story that the anime didn't cover, and I just love getting more of Tomoe and Nanami and all these other characters. So after we finish this one, up into this volume we have Nanami having developed feelings for Tomoe, Tomoe just having heard about it but also really wants to start taking care of her. But we also have met Mizuki the snake, which is now Nanami's familiar, which, I mean, it's super weird that he's actually kissed her when she was unconscious. That is like total red flag. Also, I love how Tomoe handled it, which is like beat his ass up. And I love watching more and more about this story, and I am reading it slowly because this series brings me so much joy, and I just love it so much. Let me try to find the panels for you guys. Tomoe and Nanami here. Can you see it? I'm hoping, because I can see if you can see it. But my collection of Kamisama Kiss is growing. So far I own like 3 volumes, and I have to say it's easier to find this one in my country because it's quite older manga, which I love because I keep hearing that it's super difficult to find on Amazon and everything else. And I have to say that I agree because I kept looking for other volumes to put on my Amazon cart and I couldn't find any. All of them were sold out or haven't been restocked in a while. So when I found this in the bookstore, totally by coincidence, I totally picked them up immediately and I have no regrets. So that's it for my video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I had so much fun talking about these books and manga that I read in the month of March, and this will be my last video for a while. I just don't really have the time to film and edit videos at this time. I'm starting a new job soon, so it's gonna be a bit hectic for a while. It is Easter coming up in 1 week, I believe, here, so I guess we'll see. I will try to film like a bunch of videos to post here and there, but I'm not sure how that will go, but I have one video coming, which is a reading vlog, I think this Wednesday. Then I have this one. I will continue posting my wrap-ups, but other than that, I have no idea. So like, subscribe, stick around, check out my Instagram. I will put the thing here, and I will see you for my next video very soon. Bye!